Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another slightly late but still together podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AISH Actions but still together podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I have to mute my. There we go. Pam, how you doing today? Is Pam alive and kicking? Alive and kicking. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you back for another episode of AISH Actions Revolutionary Podcast. We are, of course, being joined by our co-host, Chantal. Hey, Chantal.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I've been good. Lots of new stuff has come to light, so been working on some reports that'll go live next week.
Good. Just to do a little bit of news, and this is good news for anyone calling Alberta their home. The judge quashed the separation vote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we call it? The referendum, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
But apparently Smith's party is going to appeal it.
Oh, of course they're going to appeal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
thought it was funny because I watched the live legislature video the other day, and she was all about not separating from Canada, and she doesn't support, any of the separatist movement, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, way to contradict yourself.
Well, it's a load of shit that she doesn't support it. I mean, that's her base, the rural, the rural Alberta voter. And that's not to say every rural Albertan wants to separate, but obviously there are a number of them, and that's her base. They are jilted and they are upset. And of course, if you're a farmer or anything else, you can understand that. But just take a look at how Donald Trump is treating the farmers in the U.S., and you want to risk being a part of that system? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, come on. Your own government is the ones literally stealing trillions of dollars from you. Your Alberta government, not Ottawa. You can talk about Ottawa all you want. There's a case to be made for Ottawa, absolutely. But Ottawa isn't ripping off trillions of dollars from you. It is ostensibly your own Alberta government, and that in perpetuity. Since the mid-'80s at least. The Heritage Fund, and I'll say it again, is at $30 billion. It should be at $1.8 trillion, and that is not Ottawa. That isn't any other province except Alberta and the people who have governed it since the mid-'80s. They have literally taken your wealth and have nothing to show for it. And you can say, well, we have a little bit of infrastructure. Well, once again, I'll bring up Norway. Norway ostensibly has no homelessness, an amazing, system of roads and connectivity, all these things, and they only use 3% of that 1.8 trillion a year to do all of that funding and infrastructure. The rest of it is saved. Why? Because they care about their citizens and they care about their country. They care about longevity. They think about into the future. Alberta already has that. We have the means by which we can enter a new millennia 100% sustainable and thriving. So why you would ever want to give that up to any other thing, and the amount of transition costs, the amount of getting a military that won't be able to do shit for any other country, especially being landlocked, not having water as a natural protection, you leave yourself vulnerable to every influence. Why would you be that dumb? Your own government is ripping you off and has been since the 80s. If you deal with that problem, you'll never have to separate. And whatever Ottawa gets can be managed and mitigated. And hey, if we're rich and nobody's, suffering, then why wouldn't you want to give to the rest of the country in as much as you can? Not so that our own province becomes, you know, insolvable or hurts to an extent, but you can still give that money to Ottawa and the other provinces because that's how a country works, right? You know what I mean? We don't want to
Mhm.
see anybody destitute. So start caring about yourself. Separation is not caring about you. Holding your provincial government is what is going to ultimately see you thriving, and it's the reason why you're not. So, anyway, that's a big win. I think that's a big win for Alberta. What says you, Chantal?
Oh, I agree. Like there's no reason to separate at all. Things can be handled a hell of a lot better on the provincial front than just always, um, what is it, blaming the federal government,
Right.
like way to pass the buck, you know?
Mhm.
The federal government doesn't make all of the decisions for Alberta. That's the Alberta government. And it depends on whoever is in power and what their personal agenda is.
And every government since the mid 80s has basically stolen from you out of
Yeah.
the Heritage Fund. Because once again, Sweden can do it with just 3% and still save 1.8 trillion, sorry, dollars. And they are a larger group of people and probably the 15th largest oil reserve in the world. We are the fourth
Mhm.
largest and we have less people. They have a port, which is important, but that's not the extent of it. As a matter of fact, the way that we transfer oil almost factors none into the equation that we shouldn't be saving on par with Norway.
Mhm.
So this is where your money has gone. It has gone somewhere, and no one even knows where that is. I can't figure it out. Chantal can't figure it out. But what a win! I take that as a win, not because I love Canada. I've been all over the world. There are nice places everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, uh, but I respect where I live enough to not want to secede to something worse. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
I don't like that whole GIMP, thing with a safe word. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be
Mhm.
beaten any harder than I have to be,
Yeah.
and we're going to need a safe word if we ever secede to the U.S.
Yeah.
Banana
Exactly.
or something like that.
I think a lot of people will not quite be sure what they're supposed to do if that happens. Because a lot of us we can't afford to escape. We can't afford to be refugees going to different provinces. Um, so yeah, it kind of leaves everybody kind of in a difficult position.
It really does. It really does. What do we do? Um, what do we do? Uh, and people will argue, well, this isn't about the states. This is about being our own sovereign country. Well, sure. I mean, the transitional cost, the fact that your government's already ripping you off, and the transitional cost is going to be money out of your pocket,
Yeah.
like an unfathomable amount of money out of your pocket, and then you're going to need your own military because you're going to need security, and of course the U.S.
Hmm.
will continue to do their job like they do for Canada anyway, right?
Hmm.
Um, but that is not the end game. The end game is ultimately seceding, and you see the U.S. going after the four largest oil reserves in the world: Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Alberta. That's the
Yeah.
lineup. And so I don't think that's a coincidence at all.
No.
And the fact that Arthur Pawlowski is down in Washington right now, uh, you know, um, you know, shaking hands and hugging babies and making, whatever kind of deal he can, does not sit well with me at all. Um, So we're good for now
Mhm.
until the appeal. Is there anything you
Yeah.
had? You said you had some things that came up just recently.
Oh, that's just regarding the separatist thing, how it was squashed. The fact that um, where is it here? Smith's stance on the whole separatist thing, and then how she contradicted herself. Where is it here? They released, where is it here? A new ADAP fact sheet. The handbook for ADAP basically has been released. So I haven't had a chance to go through everything. I'm kind of taking my time with making sure that I have all my I's dotted and T's crossed. So yeah.
Right. Have you pulled anything from it that you can share?
Yes and no. Like I haven't had a chance to really go through it. Between my personal advocacy with my kids this week has been really heavy. I know that they've released some numbers, but I haven't quite dove into all of it as of yet.
Right. It seems to me with some of the comments on some of the AISH pages, it almost seems to be having a chilling effect. Although I think, although we're starting to understand the rules of the game a little bit, like a very
Yeah.
little bit, really. Um, None of that seems necessarily good for anybody on AISH. Like it doesn't seem
No.
like a win. It just seems like they're putting out the terms.
Yeah.
And the little bit about, oh, you'll have the ability to appeal. Well, why the fuck am I appealing in the first place?
Yeah.
I'm on AISH because I did appeal.
Hmm.
So this whole
Well, not so much just the appeal process. Like they did the Bill 12 thing, right, which removed the appeal process or individual appeal process. So I don't know how they can say that the appeal stuff is still um, like structural when they've already removed it.
Mhm.
So like when I go through the rest of um, this handbook or whatever it is that they're calling it, uh, where is it here? Transforming Disability Income Assistance in Alberta Discussion Guide and Assisted Living and Social Services.
Mhm.
Which is funny because everybody that looks at this, like they really need to look at when it was published because it was published last year, August 2025. So they've been sitting on this for that long.
Oh wow.
We're now in 2026.
Right.
So I think this is just more smoke and mirrors, in my opinion. So this could be the first rendition of what it is that they're hoping the ADAP program will be. And I'll do my side-by-side comparisons between this little discussion booklet that they've announced and made live against the actual AISH handbook or manual that I have.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems to me much ado about nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't get too excited.
Yeah.
It just seems to me like they're defining terms, and those terms are not for your benefit. If you want to champion the fact that you'll be able to appeal this, um, I would consider that almost good, good, great. Uh, it's whatever you think it is. It's not much to me. It means nothing because the whole thing is moving forward anyway. And you're going to have to appeal again, go through the stress of not knowing where you stand in relation to your livelihood and the money that you're receiving, what that's going to look like. The bullshit is certainly far more than the clarity is at this moment, especially with Danielle Smith saying that we're actually going to make more money. And saying that, well, not everybody can work, but for those who can work, we're going to supply them with means, and they're going to make maybe close to $40,000 or $50,000. That's the bullshit.
Yeah.
The whole plan is to get you off AISH so that Daniel Smith looks good to a bunch of people in MAGA hats, and and all of that at your expense, when the government has ripped you off literally trillions of dollars. And if you can't get your head around that and you don't want to fight for what's right, I don't know that I can help you. It's good that we've got a win, but we got a long way to go.
Yeah. Well, in this Transforming Disability Income Assistance in Alberta, the discussion guide, they actually have it here for background and context. So the discussion topics in this guide present proposed features of the Alberta Disability Assistance Program. So those proposed features does not mean that these are going to be the features within the program.
Right, they're proposed, and they're
They're not cemented in.
and they're kind of a carrot.
They're hypotheticals.
Right, exactly. I would love to own a Lamborghini. How's that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it says here, feedback from Albertans will help shape the final program. Sure. Alberta's government is establishing a new program for Albertans with disabilities so they can receive the support they need while pursuing meaningful careers. The new ADAP is scheduled to launch in July 2026. So again, this was written in 2025, not this year. So this is just their proposal. So not meaningful commitments. Alberta Disability Assistance Program, ADAP overview. So Albertans with disabilities who rely on income assistance have made it clear that they want more opportunities to earn a living and support to gain and retain employment than what is currently being offered by the Assured Income for the Severely Handicapped, AISH program.
Right. Can you break
Okay.
that down?
So they're basically saying that the majority of us want to be able to work and support and gain and retain employment
Because
more than what has already been offered through the AISH program.
Well, that's not our fault. That's their fault. If they want,
Well, not even so much that. I think more people have an issue with the fact that our income on AISH is not actually assured.
Go ahead.
Right. I think that's what the biggest problem is with a lot of us recipients on AISH is the fact that there are so many red tape, bureaucratic BS hoops that we have to jump through in order to make sure that we get our check at the end of the month. Because if it was assured, right, if it was assured, people wouldn't be phoning the check lines every month going, oh my God, am I going to get paid this month? Am I going to be homeless?
Right. And what constitutes that that break? What is that? Where does that come from?
What the not being assured?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just how the government likes to constantly keep us not supported. And stability is something that would help everybody and their mental health, their well-being, their security for where they live, so housing security, food security, so they know where they're going to be getting their groceries from, right? They know what their financial means are going to be every month, without question. The government hasn't maintained their first mandate, and that's for our income to be assured.
To be assured. I'm just wondering.
So creating a new program isn't going to fix that.
Sure. I'm just wondering why a person would miss their check. I mean, I haven't missed a check yet, and I'm wondering what would constitute missing one.
Oh, sometimes like they have supposedly it's been dubbed a random, almost like a random lottery within the AISH program, where you will be requested to prevent or provide additional information like banking information. So printing off your last 3 months worth of banking information and sending it to them ASAP.
Like an audit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's been dubbed a random occurrence. So they don't control who gets audited. It just randomly happens. And they give you until the end of the month.
Like random drug testing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For people that are already assured and therefore don't have to prove anything. I mean, if the government wants to know if you're ripping them off, that's their responsibility, right? It's kind of like your right to privacy is something that you have to maintain, right? Like if you
Yeah.
go out in public and people don't want you looking inside a bank window or filming in there, you have to provide um, your own security, right? So people can't see in.
Yeah.
In the same way, the government is the same. It's their responsibility. If their system isn't working enough to catch those people, it's not our responsibility, right?
Mhm.
We're not going to do their investigating for them. And that's basically
Yeah.
what they've done. They've shoved it back onto us to prove ourselves
Mhm.
again.
And they do this constantly. Like I had a 3 or 4 month window there after I had my first son, where they constantly were requesting these 3 month um, audits. And it was like, okay, I understand that it's supposedly randomized, but you guys are literally asking 1 month difference for like the last 4 months, like pick somebody else,
Hmm.
right? I
Gosh,
had one.
if that's random, you should buy a lottery ticket. Seriously.
No doubt,
Yeah.
yeah. I had one come up when how was it? Within the last couple of years, I had another random audit, which was like, whatever, I'm so used to these damn things already, and thank God I have online banking and can save everything as PDF and email it off right away. But their letter, right, that said, hey, we want this information, never came in. Right? And they don't use any kind of secondary means of communication with the recipient. So if you, let's say, move, right, and for some reason you haven't updated your information, or let's say you become homeless because, they're screwing around with your check, or whatever ends up happening, you end up hospitalized, you don't get your mail, right? They don't take any of that into consideration. You have 30 days from the time that they apparently print off this letter. Okay. Now, a lot of offices at that time, they would print off the letter on, let's say, the 10th of the month, and they would only give you until the end of that month. But you had to get it in so fast to make sure that your paycheck at the end of that month wasn't going to be hindered,
Right.
because that's the catch 22.
Mm-hmm.
Is they tell you, oh, well, you have 30 days, but in actuality, if you don't comply right now,
Yeah.
when they think that you need to,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter that the information is sitting in their inbox. They don't tell you, oh, hey, we've received it. Your check will be cleared.
Yeah.
You just end up in the void.
Right. Right. So, the AISH itself is a problem. Just think about what you're going to incur should this transition actually happen. And I'll tell you what, um, we have a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen. And like the song with the movie Burt Reynolds was in, long way to go and a short time to get there. So we need people coming out. We need people protesting. We need all of those emails sent to all of the douchebags that some politically correct people might call politicians all over this province. And so we need that. We need people on the ground, man. We really do. We need you running hard um, to get this done. It's I don't know how many people out there can project what pain looks like. But if you can, then you'll know that July 2nd will be painful for you. And it will continue to wear on your psyche because if you think that under assured income, you have to jump through all these hoops and you have to freak out and spend your emotional bandwidth um, every month trying to prove yourself. Just think about what this transition is going to do to you mentally, and then think about what happens to you physically and biologically as you try to process things that no person of the human species can actually process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to continue here, ADAP will apparently empower Albertans with severe disabilities to pursue fulfilling job opportunities while continuing to receive the supports they need. I don't know how they can manage that with a job deficit, But anyways, support Albertans with severe disabilities with the health benefits they need regardless of their employment income. Yeah, that's too good to be true. And my general rule of thumb here is if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So now, don't rely on that. Offer enhanced employment services so Albertans with severe disabilities have the resources they need to gain new skills and be empowered to work to their full potential.
New skills, huh?
Uh-huh.
New skills. For who? And how?
Well, and like what?
And like when?
Are they, you know, hoping that they can teach wheelchair users to be able to walk and to increase their stamina that way?
Right, like what are they doing? You know, I know Trump just went to China and he wants to bring, China business like literally into the States,
Yeah.
right? And so what do they want? They want a person in a wheelchair to work in a Chinese you know, facility, like
I don't know.
like what the hell? Like what yeah,
I
like
don't know where all these new jobs are supposed to come from because like we have able-bodied, you know, thousands of able-bodied Albertans that are screaming, you know, that they're looking for jobs and they're not getting hired. How the hell do we compute into that?
that's all I'm hearing downtown at the protest.
Yeah.
People that aren't on AISH coming up to me asking me what this is all about and saying I can't find a job.
Mm-hmm.
There are no jobs out there and they don't know what to do. So where is this infrastructure coming from that they are bloviating and bragging about? It's nowhere.
I don't know. Because this has been in this document now since last year, so it's kind of like, if they knew, okay, and there's no way that anybody can say that they're ignorant to what's happening on the ground unless they actually live under a rock, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There are so many videos and like news articles and everything saying about how our employment rate right now is disgusting, but yet they want to add 70 to 80,000 more people onto that without actually producing jobs for them.
Right. Right. There's no infrastructure built to get a job.
No.
You see, like they're like, where are the jobs? What sectors are they in? Like,
Well, not just that, they just finished defunding a whole bunch of community support links for people that are disabled. So who the hell are we supposed to go to?
right? No, because the whole thing is bullshit. That like there is no evidence of it going that direction. It's kind of like the arts sector these days, right? They say that
Yeah.
that we bring in $2 billion a year in the arts sector in Canada, right? And they brag about all these arts sector jobs, but they're all managerial jobs.
Yeah.
Musicians aren't working any more than they're working less than they fucking did in the 70s, like
Mm-hmm.
right to an extent of begging bread. So like the managerial class, right, the ones that are meant to manage us
Yeah.
will be the ones making the money and getting the job. To me, that's where the job sector is heading,
Yeah.
and it's heading to robotics anyway. So
You're talking the AI stuff.
all of
How
the
everything's
AI
heading
stuff
that way.
and
Yeah.
robotics are building a ton of shit, 3D
Mm-hmm.
printing, everything else. So the actual um, working base, except for maybe the trades, and even they, are going to be automated at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We're the job pool is less all across the board, and now they're saying they want to help us by putting us into an ecosystem of which is a barren desert,
Yeah.
right? Where you'll just be wandering around looking for an oasis. And the
Yeah.
oasis will be taken up by the people that can run the fastest and get there the first, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really Darwinian, man.
Well, when it mentions, you know, that they want, where is it here? Offer enhanced employment services to Albertans with severe disabilities, have the resources they need to gain new skills and empowered to work to their full potential. Resources would be money. So are they just going to be, you know, sending us to what? job fairs, sending us to like the federal government to ask for student loans so that we're in debt.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Right?
They'll teach
That's
you
the
how,
only thing that makes sense.
they'll teach you how to write a resume and then tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
Go find
And
a
if you
job.
don't apply to a certain amount of jobs or you don't gain employment or whatever, they're going to cut your benefits.
Money, money, money.
Yeah.
Goes.
Because I think this ADAP program, right? In my opinion, what this ADAP program is going to be is a lot like the expected to work program through Alberta Works,
Yes.
where they help you for a specific amount of time and you jump through all the hoops and they give you your check and you jump through more hoops and they give you your check. And the second that you stop performing like a circus animal,
Yep.
they start withholding your benefits and your checks.
Exactly. So if you don't prove whatever their standard is,
Yeah.
you start to lose. And that was a shitty program under Alberta Works, or
Mhm.
welfare as it just used to be called. Because if it was called, it should be called Alberta Doesn't Work. Um, you know what I mean? Like that whole system
Yeah.
is collapsed and corrupt. And we already know from the 80s that none of that shit worked. People learned
No.
how to game the system. They learned how to work around it, not because they're lazy or anything else, but because the whole thing was based on a bullshit premise that
Mhm.
if just because you know how to write a resume, you'll get a fucking job. Well, you can't get a job if
Mhm.
if there aren't any jobs. Right? You
Yeah,
can have
exactly.
1,000 resumes and send them on to 1,000 places, and you're not going to get a job. Not only that, you have a skill set, right? If the
Mhm.
jobs that you're looking for do not comport to your skill set, then you're going to be bypassed for the person who has that skill set.
Yeah.
And so, and the skill set nowadays, I saw some kids last year downtown, and I asked them, like, what do you guys want to do? You're 18, you're 17 to 19, right? What do you want to do? Like, what's your goal in life, right? Every one of them, and I'm talking about 6 kids, all said
Mhm.
technology. Every one of them. I said, holy shit, where's the
Well, that's what their parents probably pushed them into, because that was a huge thing when I was a kid too. You want to get into computers, you want to get into technology, you want to get into this, that, or the other, right? It wasn't about going into the trades. It wasn't about going into the medical field because a lot of our parents were already in those, right?
right?
And they were hard on the body or they were hard mentally or whatever. And our parents were the outcome of that industry. So everybody was like, oh, well, technology. Yeah, that's even better. Get into that.
Mhm.
And I don't think the mandate for pushing people into technology has changed much.
No, I mean it's right there. I asked these kids. I said, well, where the hell's the nurse among you?
Hmm.
Nobody raised their hand. I said,
Yeah.
where's the guitar player here? Where's the bass player?
Yeah.
Where's the plumber? Where's the mechanic? And every one of them was like tech. And I'm like,
Yeah.
is that what you were put on earth to do? To be so homogenous that you all do the same fucking thing in life? Like,
Hmm.
no, I refuse to believe that all 6 of them had that same desire.
Yeah.
It was just their friend
I,
does it.
I think it was just because it was pushed as being like, in 10 years and 15 years or whatever, everything's going to be technology based, right? So there's going to be people that need to work for TELUS to hook up, all of these networks. There's going to have to be people that sign people up for cell phone usage and, like working at the kiosks and stuff, right? I think a lot of people thought, oh, hey, if I get into computers and technology, that means that I get to build computers. That means that I get to do work that matters. And it's like, no, that is the umbrella term for everything beneath it.
Right. I was in KFC not that long ago just to get a drink. I hate KFC as a rule, but just to get a drink, and it was all automated.
Yeah.
And there were people behind the counter, but they wouldn't take your order. And they were kind of looking around like, like a bunch of dummies, not
Hmm.
with nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, this is where we're headed, ladies and gentlemen. And if they're going to do this to the disabled community, good luck for that fucking guy working in KFC that when his job is fully automated and he can't just look around the air with nothing to do, you think they're going to support your ass? No. You think going
Nope.
separate is going to help you? No, it ain't. You think becoming part of the U.S. is going to help you? It's going to destroy you. There are more people living under bridges in the U.S. now than in the entire history of the United States of America. And this is the land of the free and the home of the brave?
No.
Really? No. Donald Trump hasn't come forward to put in any program. He's cut $1 trillion from the big, beautiful bill. And if that isn't a bill, a name of a bill for children, I don't know what is. And he has cut $1 trillion in SNAP, in funding for the homeless, for funding for the destitute.
Yeah.
So nobody's coming to save you. You better save your own ass. And that's why we're down at City
Town Hall
on Friday and Tuesday every week, so that you can come down and so you can save yourself and you can save the person next to you. Nobody's coming to save you, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody. I know that's
no, the government's definitely not interested in saving anybody.
no. We're trying because we know you, because we are you. That's why we're fighting so hard. That's why if it sounds like I'm castigating you, I'm not. I'm trying to motivate you. I'm trying to, build a fire under your ass. And as harsh as that sounds, the government is not coming to save you. And if Jesus is, I sure taking a sweet fucking time. So it's kind of up to us.
I'm just looking here. So it says the purpose of engagement. The goal of the Alberta Disability Assistance Program is to expand disability income support options for Albertans who have a severe disability but are still able to work. There are 5 topic areas where Alberta's government is seeking input. So program eligibility, applications, adjudication and appeals, benefits, income and asset exemptions, employment supports and expectations, client transitions. This discussion guide contains information about about each topic and invites you to share your thoughts and insights to shape the new ADAP program. Now, I haven't seen anybody cite that they had seen this prior to whenever it showed up on the site. I just found it, so I don't think it's been up for very long. But it says here, written submission, online survey, and telephone town halls, and they all closed as of September 12th, 2025.
Yeah, when nobody knew shit about anything.
Yeah, because everybody that has been in any of the AISH groups, the ARC, my community, nobody has ever cited that, hey, yeah, I've seen this handbook and I put in my 2 cents. So they're posting this after the fact, and I'll be digging into the metadata for when it was actually posted because you know me, I got to pluck the chicken thoroughly. So yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it does if you're thinking about strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes total sense that you would do a thing before people really caught on to what was happening, so that you could give your excuse that you did something. But at that point, there was nobody to show up except maybe the people you invited on your own accord. I just want to stop to acknowledge the people in the chat right now. I believe. Well, we have 2 people watching, and if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, we are totally open to fielding anything for you. Talking to you directly. There's got to be questions because Chantal and I have a lot of information, and all we have is questions. So, if anybody feels like it, please shout out, say hi, like the stream if you care to share it. That would be fantastic, so that we can start building a base and a foundation for other people to be watching this show and coming out on Fridays and Tuesdays to support themselves and to stand up for their own rights. Right? So yeah, I just want to throw that out.
I'm just looking here at some of this information because it was Marie Renaud that ended up posting originally this like the document itself.
Mhm.
Where is it here? This discussion guide.
Okay.
And apparently it came out in her video was posted August 14th, 2025 at 10:48 a.m. But there was never any link to it in like on the video. Because she says it'll be linked in the description. There was never any link. So she had a hard copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came across the video, and of course I screen capture everything, and then I managed to hunt down the document. But I don't think anybody would have been able to find it had it just been the video as it was,
Okay.
because there was no link. There was no accessibility to it.
Yeah, how are you going to find it? And this is the lady that is helping us, right? Like ostensibly.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for the help. Appreciate it.
Because even in her comments, like I ended up going into her comments first to see where I could find this because it wasn't in the description.
Yep.
And then she ended up linking in a couple things here, a website for where is it here? Alberta Disability Assistance Program.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go into that, that's not right there.
Okay, the link you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you right there. It comes up to this ADAP fact sheet.
All right.
How it works, public engagement. It's just a page like on it, and I had to actually look for the actual discussion. What's it called? The discussion guide. I had to actually find it
Well, isn't that
because it
amazing?
wasn't at that link.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that she's got a whole staff around her and she can't get her shit together? You and I have no staff except our own conscience, and
Yeah.
which keeps us motivated and busy all the time, and we get shit done.
Yeah, well, I shared the discussion guide right away. As soon as I downloaded it, it went live through my page.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has access to it now.
Right, because you did that when they wouldn't. So once again, even the people that are trying to help us don't have their shit together. And so what's it going to take? It's going to take you, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take every one of us doing our own work because our lives are literally at stake. And, this is a problem. This is a problem that we see. This is a social problem. This is a problem with society. It is not the handicap. It is pretty much every citizen in the world that will not move until their lives are until it's absolutely necessary that they lift even one finger. Now, I consider what's happening to us enough to move more than a finger. You obviously do too. But this is a social problem that we have. And so the question then becomes, are you going to remain in a status quo mindset? Or are you going to pull yourself out of that and go, no, 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 I'm going to fight because I can project into the future, and the future ain't so bright that I got to wear shades. You know what I mean? It's not that for any of us. So if you can project 6 weeks now, 50 days, 49, 48 days into the future, you will know that your life looks like absolute shit, or at least it has the potential of going into a Dante's Inferno. If you can see that, that may motivate you, and it should motivate you, because that is what motivates the species. It's not what motivates me or Chantal. It is the motivation of a human species that acts because they can see where something is headed. So, I have to throw that out there.
No, I think this just kind of cements more the points that we went through on the last podcast about accessibility and inclusion.
Go ahead.
Because there's something that I want to point out. Like when I was watching the legislature video feed about questions and people shooting each other, you know, with invisible guns back and forth across the center point there, it was just ridiculous. It was like welcome to high school bicker club, right? There was nobody on the floor representing the disability community. Not one chair had somebody actually speaking out for the disabled community. Not a one.
Was the conversation?
We are not included.
Was the conversation about the disabled community?
No, just in general. Like I'm just talking in general, being in the legislature and being a member of what's happening government wise, right? Nobody is there as just our voice. Like they have Indigenous voices, they have voices for people that are spending our money, they've got voices for infrastructure, they've got the premier there, they've got Nixon there, they've got all of these big wigs there, but they don't have representation of our community there.
Right.
Like somebody that lives within the system, somebody that knows the bullshit that we go through, somebody that understands the cage that we live within. We're not a voice there. Right? Like, I don't want to, you know, speak out against anything because like I don't know all of the intricacies, right?
Yeah.
But even who Zachary Weeks works with there through what is it, the Edmonton mayor or whatever her name is, that is always in videos with him. I don't think she's disabled. She's acting as a conduit. That is completely different than actually being a spokesperson who is disabled, speaking about the disabilities of Albertans.
Right, being on the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're preaching about all of this accessibility, all of this inclusion, all of this and that, but we're actually not included in any of these discussions. Right. Why?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
like I understand that they want to, you know, squash a lot of people, and you know, we're gonna control what we censor, right, and what your guys' issues are. But it's like we still deserve a seat at the table.
But don't you think it kind of comes down to what they deem the most important things to be on? Meaning that you don't see us there because they don't consider us important.
Yeah.
You don't see maybe, you know, an arts representative there unless they're part of some major NGO that's sucking the taxpayer money out of Albertans.
Yeah.
You see that as a lobbyist, but obviously we're not necessary in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, how do we?
We're kind of the afterthought, if anything.
Well, and I think part of it is stigma, don't you? The fact that they're going to assume, because they're ignorant themselves, they're going to assume that we do not hold the mental bandwidth or have the intellect to even understand what's happening. Or we're going to drool on the floor, or you know what I mean? We're going to have to go.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go dump our colostomy bag every half an hour. Like the assumptions are ridiculous and foolish, but obviously there's a reason they think we're not necessary. So I think, I mean, you have proven them wrong just by the very nature of who you are. You have proven that wrong. You could walk in there and lay anybody out, right? You know what I mean? In like, you know, less than one round, you could have them all on the floor begging for mercy.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what you know. And so I smell an opportunity there. Absolutely. And maybe when we get this transition bullshit out of the way, we'll be able to really make a case for that. And I think we should make a case for that, because who would be better? I mean, you know, well, there's 80,000 people that could do it. And I think there's a case absolutely for having somebody on the floor to really put glib shitheads in their place. You know, to tell them the way the world works, and not just, you know, their own um, capitalistic tendencies.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that we just, matter as part of the gallery.
Well, everyone's entitled to gallery, right?
No, I know, but that's what I mean by, I think we deserve more than just being part of the gallery,
Oh,
is the fact that a lot of these transitions, a lot of these decisions that the government are making aren't substantial for the disability community. And
uh,
there's nobody directly voicing what our lived experiences are. That's where the disconnect is happening.
right.
So there needs to be something put into place. There needs to be some new party or some new group that actually represents the disability community as a whole, not as fragmented parts to stand for any one person with their arguments against the other half.
Yeah, well, even, think about, I can think back when I was, part of this whole middle class miasma, right? And
Hmm.
it always seemed to me throughout my lifetime that the government never did what was substantial and necessary and enough.
Hmm.
So the government always gives you the least amount of a thing that they can give you, you being kind of ignorant to what your real needs should be. Maybe you're pull your bootstraps up. Maybe you don't feel that good about yourself. You don't think that you deserve more. Whatever the thing is, you
Hmm.
accept what the government gives you. It's never enough. It's never satisfactory. It never solves the need. This
Yeah.
is something that governments are really, really good at, like masterful at.
Hmm.
And then what ends up happening is that you start to fall to the lack that the government hasn't compensated you for, which is just part of natural life, right? Having access
Yeah.
to this, being given this. Maybe you get a tax return, and for 2 months you're like, oh, huh, whew, thank God, and then you go right back to freaking out.
Yeah.
Now take that and times that by however much you want, 10 or 100 times, and you have the disability community.
Hmm.
And take this transition and times it by 1,000 or 10,000, and you will understand the moment that we are living in right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that people can't pull their bootstraps up, uh, that they've already been assessed to not be able to do that, are now being told that they're going to have to or they will lose their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was like, what was it? I think it was a few years ago. I'm sure people will correct me, but there was an instance where Mary Renaud said that she was going to live off of, what was it? The AISH or the income support amount that people make a month.
How long was she going to do
And
that for?
she was gonna do that for a month.
Oh,
Now, my comment and my concerns with that is, number one, she is a face that people can recognize, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of free things. So she walks into Timmy's, oh, here's a free coffee. We know who you are.
Right.
She already has, what is it? I'm going to say, housing security,
Yeah.
right? She's paid how many hundreds of thousands of dollars with where she's at, right? So she didn't have to worry about going through the rental process of not having, like an income thing, right? Where they want to know, who's your employer? Can you get me an employment reference? Can you do this? Can you do that? Right? Because if she had to actually do all the groundwork
Mhm,
that a recipient has to do, she
mhm.
would have never made it.
Right. It's a real nice.
It's a nice gesture, sure,
Yeah.
but you didn't do the whole work,
It, it it's a nice virtue signal.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just a virtue signal. Look at what I did. But there, you can't compare apples to oranges.
No.
And I think she was trying to make a case that she was.
Sympathetic to the community?
Well, I mean, I can see where the the petty bourgeoisie uh, would like to just see what that feels like without really experiencing the actual pain of the thing. And
Hmm.
to me, that's what it seems like. I mean, if you really want to go out on a limb, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, what would be equitable to you can't equate the suffering that the destitute go through unless you're destitute.
Yeah,
You might
exactly.
yeah, you might gain a
Even for even a hard month, okay, you know how to budget for the month. Congratulations. But she still has all of her assets. She still has her vehicles. She still had all of what she needed to get around, right?
Right.
She had people that she could communicate with if she, fell on harder times or what have you, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't, you can't compare it.
Right. I mean, here's what I want to do. I want to applaud her for the effort.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter to me one way or the other necessarily. Um, it would be to understand what she gained from the experience. Would
Yeah.
be the question that I would have. What did you really learn? Because personally, I think that you should have taken that month and slept at the drop-in center too.
Yeah.
That would have gotten you closer to that inferno of destitute people and drug addiction and death on a daily basis, and everything that it would get you closer to understanding just
Hmm.
how horrific it is. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, nice virtue signal, and you also know that at the end of the month, no matter how bad you suffer that month, whew, you know,
Yeah, I made it and I'm
yeah,
back to my norm.
yeah, the first of the month came around, thank God.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, see, and it's not we can't escape from our reality one month to the other, right? So it's kind of, yeah, okay, nice try. It's, I guess, it's the thought that counts. Is that what they usually say?
Well, you're right. It's the thought that counts, and not only that, she had a finish line. We don't. We don't
Yeah.
cross a finish line. We are running the race every month in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
With deficits.
with deficits, and
Yeah,
with
because a lot of people have to choose whether they pay rent or whether they buy groceries, or if they pay that bill or they leave it till next time because they need medication,
right,
right?
right, and doing the
So one
dance.
month might be harder than the next.
Yeah, and doing the dance between a credit card and your debit card, to see which one can I fuck with the most
Yep.
and go into debt with until that runs out. If you're even lucky enough to get a credit card to maybe experience 6 months of even a little bit of breath, but then you're always doing a dance between the two to try and balance
Mm-hmm.
those, and you're going to lose on either side of that equation.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, because a lot of people on AISH, they can't qualify for credit cards anyway,
of course not. Of course
right?
not. Of course not.
Like I've had a bankruptcy sitting for the last 13 years, and I can't pay my trustee, so it's like whatever. I don't care.
Yeah,
What am I supposed to do? You can't get blood from a stone, right?
exactly. Exactly.
So, and I was supposed to have help with that from my family, and no, that didn't happen. So it was like, thank you for putting me into more debt. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So what do we got next? What's up for?
General in eligibility criteria. So general eligibility criteria are applied to make sure the applicant is legally allowed to receive support from the program. So this is regarding ADAP. These criteria must continue to be met for the individual to maintain eligibility for AISH or ADAP. To be eligible for both programs, individuals must be at least 18 years old and not eligible to receive an old age security pension. Live in Alberta and be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident of Canada. And not live in a correctional facility or mental health facility.
A mental health facility.
Mm-hmm. So wouldn't that be like Panoka, Alberta Hospital?
Yeah, I guess there's not a lot of them left.
No.
No.
They closed a lot of those.
They razed Panoka to the ground. Yeah, there's no more. You used to be able to see it from the road.
Over there.
You can't even see it anymore. They razed the entire complex. So, yeah. So where do we go from here?
I have no idea, 'cause I think everybody remembers that with AISH, you can only have, what was it, a $5,000 asset, or is it 10,000? I can't remember. But you can't have, what is it, RRSPs, you can't have all of these things.
Right. You can't have nice things.
Nope.
No.
And you can only have one vehicle. You can have a home, but what is it? No rental properties or anything like that, which makes sense because that would be revenue,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah, like they're really stringent on what you can and can't have in order to apply for AISH and actually get it. They want to make sure that you're destitute before you get there. You have no
Yeah.
fallbacks.
Yeah, well, I would say that if you have rental properties, and I mean, once again, there does come a point
Ah,
where you don't necessarily need the program, but you know what? Even the middle class and the work that you and I have done and the mathematics that we've accomplished with the Heritage Fund shows that
mm-hmm,
every household in America, in Alberta, um, has ostensibly lost $350,000 since the mid '80s.
yes,
So you should be Albertan out there that's going, well, we don't need these programs and getting free money. Well, your own government, if it did what it should have done, uh, as was set up in the beginning of the Heritage Fund, you would be getting approximately, I think, at a 5% extraction per year of the Heritage Fund,
mm-hmm,
managed properly, managed correctly, you would be getting about $8,650 a year. Okay? So, and that would be free money. That would be
mm-hmm,
because you live in Alberta, because you are attached to a system that, and lucky enough to live in a province that will do that for you. And so, once again, if Alberta is part of Canada and it benefits from great wealth, there's no reason we can't ship a little bit to New Brunswick, where it's a nice place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. But it's a beautiful province. I lived there for a portion of my younger life. Bay of Fundy, Shediac, lobster. Come on, we
mm-hmm,
we have all the resources to really, in a sense, take care of all of Canada. We could be
mm-hmm,
Ottawa in that sense, and so I think that's how people conflate separation. Is they think that you know what I mean, we can afford to actually be our own um, little nation, but
mm-hmm,
that's stupid because we don't have the people to have an army or to have
yeah,
protection. Plus, we're landlocked. We don't have the protection of a water of water around us, which is why places like Norway and Singapore and places like that can work because they have
mm-hmm,
natural protection all the way around them. So
yeah,
we can't survive that way, nor do we need to. We're a good enough fucking country, and we're trying to. Well, I don't think our politicians are making it better yet, but there is coming a day, whether I see it or Chantal sees it or her kids see it or her kids' kids see it, there is coming a day where things, I believe, are going to met themselves out for the better of every Canadian citizen, and people will be really proud once again to call themselves Canadian. I really believe that. We just
mm,
have to we just have to stop the neuroses. And we have to stop this living in the eternal present. Like all that matters is right now. Right? That we've never been a better society, that we're the most medically advanced. I mean, Mesopotamia had running toilets, for God's sake, 4,000
mm-hmm,
years ago. They weren't stupid, and we're not the smartest people that have ever lived. We're simply not. So we can work these things out. We should be working them out. We should be taking to task the system that is trying to hurt us and exploit us, and rendering us unnecessary. That's what we should be doing, not separating. What are you, weak? You run away? Don't run away. Stand and fight. Sorry, I'm preaching now.
It's all good.
I spent
You're
too much.
passionate.
I spent,
You're
that's
good.
right. I spent too much time around Jimmy Swaggart. I guess that rubbed off on me. Certainly the religion part didn't, but yeah,
No worries.
yeah.
Let me just see here. We already went through that. So the financial eligibility criteria, AISH and ADAP are income and asset tested programs intended to support low income Albertans who need financial help to meet their basic needs.
Right.
When our basic needs actually are not met on AISH.
Right.
Anyway, these financial eligibility criteria explain how the AISH and ADAP programs will determine how income from various sources is treated. Applicants and clients must report all sources of household income and assets, including income and assets of their spouse, cohabitating partner. This information is used to determine eligibility for AISH and the amount of monthly allowance a client receives. It is proposed that ADAP follows the same eligibility requirements as outlined below. So some income is exempt. This means it is not counted and will not affect a person's eligibility for ADAP. And the monthly living allowance and ADAP client receives, it includes things like cash gifts, income tax refunds, registered disability savings plans and payments, registered retirement savings plan payments.
Okay.
That's really vague, isn't it?
I didn't even understand it. I mean, not because you're not explaining it, because it, once again, it makes no sense, and you think you're the crazy one, right?
Uh-huh. Well, so when they're trying to figure out whether or not you're eligible income wise, so they don't count cash gifts, which is completely different to AISH. So that would be what, free handouts? So if you're panhandling, is that cash gifts?
It could be that, or it could be, let's say you do a gig at a church, you do a speaking engagement, and they pay you an honorarium, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, and then income tax refunds, well, that I don't understand how that wouldn't be, or how that wouldn't be exempt.
Well, yeah, but they do exempt it, don't they?
Yeah, but I don't understand how it wouldn't be.
Well, yeah, it shouldn't be, and
So it's kind of like, okay, you guys just wanted an extra like 20 letters, got it. Registered disability savings plan, and then the registered retirement savings plan. As far as I know with this disability savings plan, because I have one for myself and each of my children, you can't take money out of that. Like you can get a certain amount from the government per year that you have the disability tax credit and it goes towards that. But you have to wait 10 years to be able to access any money that you get from the government.
like what kind of money?
So what it is I'm probably gonna brutalize this. Let me just grab it here. I'll grab the information on it really quick because it's kind of complex to understand.
Which is something politics shouldn't be.
Yeah, you would think it'd be easier because like even when I was applying for it, it was like, what the heck are you guys talking about? So a registered disability savings plan is a long-term savings vehicle for Canadians with severe disabilities, allowing tax deferred growth on investments. So you can use it as like an investment account.
Okay. Yep.
And I don't know a lot about investments because I'm in the wrong income bracket to know what an investment is.
Sure.
Beneficiaries must qualify for the disability tax credit to open an account, which can receive up to $70,000 in matching grants and $20,000 in bonds from the government until age 49.
Okay. Until age 49.
Yeah.
So I'm screwed.
Because once you hit 49, that's it. You can't open one. You can't anything. That's it. 49. That's where it stops.
Why would they?
Which is
why 49? Why? What is that?
I'm not sure why or how they came up with that that number.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense. I think what it is because they want you to be able to access the disability savings plan by the time you hit age 60,
Okay.
right? Because it's supposed to be almost like a retirement thing, but for people that are disabled.
So why not keep?
So
Why not make it until 60?
I don't know, because you need that 10-year buffer in order to access your money.
You, you, well, I guess, but why you could still access your money if you wanted. You didn't have to shut it down at 49.
No, just how they end up having it, like how they explained it to me is you can, like, as long as your account is open, right, you'll receive grants and bonds and stuff from the government yearly, right? So I think right now between all four of our registered disability savings plan, I think we're at like $43,000 between the four of us.
Okay.
So, and I can put in $125 per account and the government will match that up to a certain percentage every year.
Are you able to do that?
Oh yeah, I can budget for that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for you. I mean, here's another thing too. No, really good for you. But here's something I don't think we're taking into account. Number one, how many people out there understand that this thing even exists? How many AISH recipients understand that exists? How many can take advantage of it? And who has the mental bandwidth to, number one, understand what this is, and number two, actually activate or engage in the process of establishing it for themselves, right? I mean, like these should be things that are met out by a government, like by a community navigator, or right. And our navigators right now are
bare bones.
yeah, and they don't have access. Mine didn't even know about the transition.
Yeah.
And nobody she worked with knew that about the transition. And then they had some pundit from Edmonton come in and show them a bunch of videos of Down syndrome patients working. I don't know, like coloring a book or something. Say we want to work, and they're like, "Oh my God, look at these sweet little Down syndrome patients. They really want to work. I guess this ADAP thing is beautiful." That's the propaganda of the fucking government right there. Crazy. Crazy. How are
You're watching individuals that are happy and content coloring in coloring books.
Yeah.
And saying, oh, they want to work.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you deduce that?
Exactly. And I wonder how many fucking edits it took to get it right, to get their dialogue right anyway. They didn't
Oh, it
come
was
out
probably AI generated, Gavin.
Well, yeah, fuck,
That's probably what it was. It was all AI generated. It's all good.
Why would I even doubt that? Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right? Because like even a lot of their images, like in this talking or discussion guide, okay, they have all of these images that we're supposed to believe are real people, but there's no way. The lighting is perfect. No, these are candid shots. Like these are shots that were actually manipulated to be perfect.
Well,
Those aren't like they could be real people, but it's so doctored, it's disgusting.
Oh, I know it. It's Hollywood, man. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to take a look at what the mentally handicapped looks like, I'll show you right now. There you go. The most mentally incapacitated people I can think of, right there in real time. And these are the smart people, we say, that are destroying your lives. So congratulations. We've won nothing, and we're leaving our life, freedom, everything else to idiots. There you go.
Yeah, those are the poster children for for all of the above.
For ignorance, for the bourgeoisie to look up to, to have a hero, and it's pathetic.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump can run a country, which he can't because he's not,
Yeah.
but if he can become president, anybody can become president. Anybody.
Exactly. So I can do a piece on the registered disability savings plan that's plain language for people. I think that might be something that I overlooked that might be beneficial for everybody. Just regarding like what it is, how to sign up for it, what you need beforehand, that kind of thing. So the key RDSP details, and that is the Registered Disability Savings Plan. A lot of places will use just the acronym. I have a big issue with acronyms because I can never remember what the hell they mean.
Right.
So somebody hearing that just in passing, like, oh, you should get the RDSP, but you need the DTC first, and in order to get the CDB, you need the DTC, like, it's just ridiculous. Like, use the longhand wording, like,
Right.
Jesus Christ,
Right.
right? So the purpose is for long-term financial security for people with disabilities approved for the DTC. So you have to have the disability tax credit in order to get the registered disability savings plan.
Okay.
And the only reason why I ever found out about the disability tax credit is because of my kids.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Because I never knew what the heck that was until I had them and I got their first diagnoses. And it was the Glen Rose that said about, you should apply for the disability tax credit for your children because then you can get a little bit more when it comes to, what was it, the child tax every month to help them with their needs and, the more financial burden portion of having special needs individuals as children. So that was fine. So I registered everybody for that. We got it. And then mine is from now until indefinite.
Okay.
Because every so often you have to renew.
Yeah.
Right?
But you don't.
So it's good for, no, right now, no, I don't. Because I ended up sending in, I think it was 3 or 4 different renewals.
Right.
Since I applied for mine. And I think they only last between 3 and 4 years.
Okay.
I think it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
But your doctor ends up filling out a form that says, yeah, they still need that. That's the one that you have to pay for, right?
Okay.
So, and there's no cap on what your doctor can charge you, unfortunately, because our wonderful government hasn't set any of those caps.
Mm-hmm.
So my form, it costs $200 to do.
All right.
Then I sent it into the federal government, and it was the federal government that okayed the disability tax credit, and that will follow me countrywide.
Right.
So, and then I got it for my kids too, and all that you need to apply for that registered disability savings plan is like your letter of confirmation that you have the disability tax credit.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So eligibility, Canadian resident under the age of 60 with some exemptions and eligible for the DTC.
Okay.
So as long as you have that, you're golden. Contributions, so lifetime limit of 200,000 with no annual limit.
What does that mean?
It means that you can put in $200,000 and you could put it in all at once. So if you were to win the lottery and you wanted to put all of your money into one of those, you'd be good.
Okay.
And it's exempt.
Well, here's hoping I
according to the AISH-to-ADAP thing. But then you can't touch it until you're 60. So hope to Christ you live that long.
Well, no, hope to Christ I win the lottery.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So where is it here? So the government support. Okay, so the Canadian Disability Savings Grant up to $3,500 a year and Canadian Disability Savings Bond up to $1,000 a year are available depending on income. So like I said, I can put $125 a month into each of my kids' accounts.
Okay.
Right? And that'll give us the maximum that the government will put in with regards to, where is it here? The bond and the grant.
Okay.
So every year of me putting in that $125 a month, right? We'll walk away with what, $3,500 a year in those accounts.
Okay. Okay, so they'll double it, they'll match you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So age limits, accounts can be opened until the end of the year that the beneficiary turns 59. Withdrawals, mandatory withdrawals must start by age 60, known as lifetime disability assistance payment. So benefits and regulations, tax treatment conditions are not tax deductible, or contributions are not tax deductible, but investment income grows tax deferred. So you can use your disability savings account there as an investment portfolio. So you can sit there and you can play the stock market and you can invest in this, invest in that, make more money, and nothing happens tax-wise. So if you were to gain $100,000 in your tax account, you don't have to claim it.
Okay. All right. But
Where is
how
it
many
here?
disabled people are playing the stock market? How many of them have?
Uh,
How many of them have the mental bandwidth to do that? Nobody's getting
Oh.
rich. Nobody's getting rich
No.
on AISH, man. And you know I want to comment on one thing, and that is all of these acronyms that you hate, and so do I. It's kind of like the Tower of Babel. You know,
Yep.
I mean, and I take this as archetype, not as true story. It's an archetype. But you see this in immigration too, right? One of the best ways to divide people is to divide their language, to make them not be able to understand the person next to them. That's what the Tower of Babel says, right? That's where language came from. Now, I highly doubt that's where language came from, but that's the archetype. That's the story, right? God changed the language of all people. They no longer could communicate together. They had to walk away, and the whole project stopped, right? Which is pretty weird that they were trying to build a temple to heaven, and we already have, what the hell's the name of those? I forget the name of them, but we have these satellites that have already passed the fucking asteroid belt. I mean, they weren't gonna build a tower that big, right?
No.
And somehow God was really scared that they'd reach them. It's kind of fucking weird, but anyway, these acronyms.
Maybe it has something to do with oxygen deprivation and hallucinations.
A little
They
bit,
were just
yeah.
going to build until they couldn't, function psychologically anymore.
Yeah, they built it so high until it got too cold and there was no air, and they'd go, you know what, fuck it. I mean, we don't need God to stop this thing. We'll fucking crazy story.
Yeah.
but and you're right. That's a very good observation and analysis. But the same thing is true of these acronyms. They twist the language, or they throw so many of these things out at you that you don't understand what one of them fucking means. I probably last week was the first time I could actually hold on to AISH. And now I forgot.
The assured income for the severely
Assured
handicapped.
income for the severely handicapped, and ADAP is. So you
A
see what I
bullshit
mean?
program that they're coming out with now.
I'm at a fucking loss, and I'm not a dummy by any stretch, I don't think. I don't know these acronyms.
Yeah.
And
the Alberta Disability Assistance Program.
right. And so it is the confounding of a people.
And I had to look it up.
Oh, well, I didn't have that luxury, but you see what I mean, right?
Yep.
I can't.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't define it. And there is acronym after acronym after acronym that no one can apprehend. They don't know the language of. And then once you understand the acronym, then you have to know what it means, what the definition of that thing is. And right, and so in the midst of all your confusion and confoundment, the government just basically comes in underneath you and sweeps the rug out while you're trying to figure out what the fuck everything means. I mean, what a strategy! What a nefarious, evil strategy!
Well, it's part of their making things not accessible.
Right, yeah, right. They're saying, yeah, we're doing this to make it more accessible. Well, no, you're not. And you don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to know exactly what you're doing, which is making it harder and less accessible for people to understand, activate, be motivated. Now you've taken away our workers, our individual workers, so we can't call them and go, what the fuck does this mean? What am I looking at? We can't do that anymore. And So yeah,
Well, nobody's really gonna spend hours on hold waiting to ask somebody to define a fucking acronym.
well, exactly. And I guess you could look it up, but why is it our responsibility to understand what the government does in that respect? Don't you have managers, an entire managerial class that are the ones that should understand this and should be working for the people? But that's not how
Mhm.
government works. And it doesn't work for the disabled, but it doesn't work for the middle class. And
Yeah.
once again, it's amazing how little we'll put up with, or how little we'll get for ourselves, how much we'll put
Mhm.
up with until we actually act on anything.
Well,
And
I think the major issue is that they've purposely made a lot of these areas so hard to navigate, right? So in order to understand the acronym for what they're suggesting you have to look up the acronym, you have to understand the acronym, and then you have all of that bureaucratic red tape that you have to peel through in order to get to any one destination,
right,
right? And that's purpose. Like they've purposely put all of that in place to make it harder for people like us to access. And like you and I don't like, we're not the, um, we're not a good representation of the majority of people on AISH. Like you and I, yeah, sure, we've got mental health issues, we've got mobility issues, we've got all of these different issues. But for people that have cognitive disabilities, it's fucking impossible.
impossible.
Absolutely impossible.
Like that guy
So,
that
and
I
then they've
met.
removed all of those supports to help people to have access to information that they need. And why? Because
Well,
us accessing that information is punitive, or, isn't in their best interest. Like it doesn't make any sense.
right, because government was never meant to be streamlined. It was meant just as a conduit for bullshit and self-interest. And so that's what we see play out now, just like we did in Rome. And you're right. We probably do represent a lot of the AISH demographic. But that guy in that wheelchair that I told you about at the protest last week, I mean, this guy
Hmm.
was just a drooling, kind of potato. Like, I mean, God
Hmm.
bless him. I don't say that. I just say that to describe the fact that he was literally pretty much a vegetable. And yet
Yeah.
there were
Very low functioning.
yeah, and yet there were things about him that you knew he was either really trying hard to understand, but he was in a wheelchair. He was all fucking gift, man. Like, and he had his worker there, which she was so, I don't know, like pleased to see people out there fighting on his behalf. And
Yeah.
we couldn't have been happier to be doing it. And but how is this guy going to navigate a fucking system? Like, I mean, he's
Yeah.
not. He's going to
Like,
die
has
in
he
his
ever
wheelchair.
applied for the disability tax credit? Does he have the Canadian disability benefit?
Yeah,
Is
right. Is
he
he
being ripped off $200 a month by the
right?
AISH,
Right.
right?
Is this guy going to be playing the fucking stock market? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Exactly, but he has to rely on somebody else in some kind of community capacity to do that for him. And with all of the systems being broken down and defunded, our windows of accessibility are closing,
Yeah. Right.
which is really a detriment to the entire disability community.
It is. It is. And yet it's the
Because they're
biggest.
saying, get this, get this, get that, but nothing is accessible in a way that, let's say my son, when he hits 19, is ever going to be able to navigate on his own.
Well, of course not. And that is the bane of the handicapped existence. Uh, but it is the joy of a regime.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Like that just leads me back to my original point there, where people need, like, we need a group specifically that sits at every meeting, that isn't for or against any particular party. They are just there in essence of the disability community.
yes.
So whether it's turning all of that bureaucratic paperwork into something accessible to the community,
Yeah.
that would be beneficial to us at large.
Right. Um, yes.
Like, we deserve a seat regardless.
Yeah.
And there are people that are in the disability community that yeah, they're looking for work, or they want to work, or they are working, right? But things still aren't meaningfully becoming accessible to the community. right? So you look at all of the paperwork that I'm redrawing for people that is accessible. All of the barriers that I'm trying to physically pull down so that people can access their information, right? You can't tell me that a government funded operation couldn't be doing 90% more work than I am as one individual that would be meaningful contribution to the fucking disability community.
Right.
It's just not something that they've prioritized, and that's wrong.
Well, right, because they cut a check and they go home and they don't give a shit and they bitch even about the work they have to do, which is no work at all. So
See, and I create the files, I create the, all of the plain language documentation to support the bigger documents that some people have a really hard time getting through. The audio files, that was something because my son is illiterate. And I thought, hey, there's got to be people out there that can't read for themselves that need it audio. There's a lot of audio book TikToks as you're doom scrolling that come up. So it's like, okay, well, that's a new norm now. That's a new recommended outlet for people to digest information. So let's make sure that I cross that off my list, right?
Well, yeah, and good luck fucking ever getting the government to do that, and you did it in 2 days.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try to batch them out because there's so much documentation, and it's all a matter of making it accessible, right? Because like I don't want to go into the big words, right, and make it harder for people that are listening to go, well, what the hell does that mean, right?
Yeah.
So you have to kind of find that good middle ground and kind of work from there. And I don't have people at my disposal that I can go, hey, listen to this and tell me what you think, and make sure that it's, understandable from your perspective. I'm kind of going at, okay, well, my son is in grade 5 and everything has to be translated to him in a way that he understands. So he's kind of my demographic. Right? Like here, Bug, I need you to listen to this because I want to make sure that other people can understand. And he'll come to me and he'll go, yeah, okay. I heard your voice, Mommy. It was really good. And you had a lot of information, but I don't understand all of it. And it's like, okay, how can I make it more understandable? And he'll kind of bounce back and forth with me. And this is a 6-year-old, right, an 11-year-old. And it's like, oh my goodness.
Well, right. And these are kids, that have their own barriers, to understanding. But God bless you. I mean, you're making it understandable for the 6-year-old mind. And if you can do that, most AISH recipients are going to understand what you're saying as well. We were actually going to touch on that today on the, we were going to play some actually today, but I've been so busy with other things. I'm creating an intro for the program. I showed Chantal last night. And I showed you, Pam, as well. But I'm not done. And I don't want to put it out until I am done. But I've been doing that. Podcast 4 days a week. Protest 2 days a week. Trying to finish intros. Working on a music video for someone. So I'm trying to get to all that. And we will get to the to those audio recordings that you have. And we'll be breaking those down. Right?
Yeah, because they're all in. Most of them I've tried to not go over 10 minutes. Right. Because a lot of it, like it's a lot of information. So I try to go either file by file or document by document for one report series. That was our main report series that went live when the group went live on April 6th, my daughter's birthday. So over spring break there. And then as we're adding more files, or as we've added more files, I'm trying to catch up now with the audio. But we've definitely got lots of information already available that we should touch on, which is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you've done so much, Chantal. Like, it's once again, like meeting you for the first week was like, I don't know, it was like meeting the best well-oiled bureaucratic machine, and all of it being done by one person. It blew me away. It blew me away, and it also gave no excuse to the government that does fucking nothing. You've done so much, and we'll get to that. We will be getting to that soon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to just stop for a second because I want to shout out into the crowd of individuals. We have five people watching right now. Pam is one of those individuals. I know that, but I don't know who the other four are. So if you have a question, you have a comment, you have a suggestion, I see nobody's liked the stream yet. If you could like that, it's not for my own sense of narcissism that you would like it. What it does is it boosts the algorithm just a little bit and it pushes it out, gives a little more weight. And right now, that's what we're looking for is a little more weight to this miasmic cesspool of legislation that we're involved in. So if you all could do that, that'd be great. If you all have a question, you can reach out just through chat, and you can ask that question, and we will most likely, if it's dealing with this transition, be able to answer it quite repletely. Hey, George, man, okay, I knew that was going to be one of you. What time is it? Oh shit, George, it's 4:41. We do have, George asked if he could come in today, and I said yeah. So I'm going to try and set that up. Chantal, can you take over for a minute? I'm going to see if I can get George in here.
Sure.
Okay.
Of course, you're gonna do this as soon as I'm outside indulging in my bad habit.
Oh, that's okay. You go. Yeah.
All right. I'm just checking here if there's anything that's come up in the group as of yet. I know that we're at 709 members right now.
Oh, wow.
John Auger has been really active in the group as of late, posting a lot of information and just a breakdown on what my work has been. So really getting it out to different people, which is amazing. Pete Klassen, again, he's been really active in trying to get out there and talk about what's going on. Where is it here? Yeah, yesterday, John Auger posted something here. The header is, they heard the backlash and they're doing it anyway. So with everybody calling to pause or stop the ADAP transition, everybody that's been pushing back, the government has heard it, but they're still going to move forward. And then Pete with his comment here, there's nothing modern about this policy. It is about 1,000 steps backwards, which I think we can all attest to. This isn't going to be meaningful support for anybody.
Right. Okay. Cool. Let me see, George. You're muted right now. Do I have you muted? I think you muted. There you go. How you doing, buddy? Are you on?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
I'm on.
Okay, fantastic. You took Chantel's place, but Chantal, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you guys are gonna switch back and forth.
Flip back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll figure that out for a later broadcast. But so ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman in the show right now, and his name is George Black. And George, I really appreciate you coming on. Very much. George Black, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who George is, he is the guy putting together the protest at the legislature for May 22nd. Do I have that right, George?
Yeah, it's from 12 until 2 p.m.
Okay, so 2 hours. Right? 2 hours, right?
Yeah, and it's weather permitting.
Right.
Well, if there's a storm, then it'll be called off.
Okay. Do you know what May 22nd is supposed to look like?
But it's rain or shine.
Yeah. By then it probably would either be raining or shining. I'm curious. Why don't or Chantal, can you look that up real quick?
Yeah. The proposed weather.
Yeah, I mean it's Alberta, right? Wait 5 minutes, but maybe we can get an idea of what it's supposed to be. So George, I mean you've been working on this for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I've been working on this for 3 months now, since January.
Okay. And how have you been feeling about how it's been going?
It's been going all right. Had about 54 people interested, about 16 people going.
16 people going? Okay, we only have.
I know I'm one of those. I'll be
Chantal
there.
is, I'm one, I know that. We're trying to figure it out here in Calgary to maybe do like a bus deal or something like that and get our illustrative butts up there to join the fine people of Edmonton, the ones with ostensibly a better hockey team, and you know, stand with all of our brothers and sisters regarding what the worst austerity project in Alberta's history, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're trying to do that. So that's cool. I mean, what? So you've got 16 going. So in a sense, we're only looking at 79,984 people left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you other 79,984 people, uh, we are ostensibly going to be outside the legislature on May 22nd between
11 and 2.
noon and 2. And if you can, or better yet, not can, but really can, I don't know how to put that bigger, you know, join us down there. This is going to be the one opportunity to show the government that is doing this specifically, because we will be in front of them. It won't be me in front of City Hall in Calgary. That's not where this is coming from. It's coming from you guys up there in real time. This represents the one opportunity to really show that you're not going to take it. That you're not going to take it laying down in a wheelchair, walking with a cane or a walker, or someone walking upright that may be suffering their own anomaly. It's the opportunity we have to really crush this thing. Why? Because media, the exposure of the amount of people, should they choose to accept this mission, will be so undeniable, and it will fill an entire widescreen shot of people that have had enough of their government. And if you say that, well, there's nothing you can do or nothing I can do, no, you can do that. You can fill a wide shot. And your presence is everything. Your spirit being there, your physical presence being captured in that moment, is not just something you can do, it's almost everything you can do. Because it becomes undeniable to everyone else watching you that somehow you are willing to risk, and they will have to account for that. The people watching will have to account for that. George, do you have the media set up to come out?
I haven't actually gone in contact with the media. Haven't contacted any of the MPs. So like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay. That. Go ahead, Chantal. I think you want to.
Just regarding the forecast predictable right now, or that's been predicted right now, it's going to be about 17 degrees, mostly cloudy. So at least we won't have the risk of overheating. But I'll be bringing bottled water
Yeah.
with me to the group.
Absolutely. Everybody bring your own drink and perhaps an umbrella. But it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, 17, cloudy, that's just comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for us. You know, George was expressing, Chantal, a few, you know, sort of things that he hasn't quite managed to do
Yeah,
yet.
reaching out to media and MPs, letting them know that we're going to be there. I can definitely get that circulating.
Okay. Do you have
Yeah, that would definitely help.
Yeah, I can get that circulating.
Yeah. Do you
No
have
problems there.
do you have any suggestions for him to, how he can do that as well in tandem with you?
Well, I've got my coalition list, that I'm gonna go through, and I can definitely share that, if he'd like. Because I try not to gatekeep any of my information. Everything's kind of out there and circulating already. But that's definitely something that we can do. So I'm sure he's heard of my group, and that's the Alberta Disability System Breakdown. And we do have a campaign email address, Alberta Disability Breakdown at outlook.com.
Okay.
Or he can message me on Facebook.
Cool. You still with us, George?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cool. What'd you think about what Chantal just said?
I think that'd be perfect. The more people we can get, the more attention that we can get pointed towards the ADAP program to hopefully bring awareness and call for action.
Amen, brother. And I had contacted you a few times, but we're really serious to stand with you. We feel like, because we tossed this around in Calgary, and I was like, well, let's just wait because somebody may be pulling the trigger up there that we don't know about yet, and then all of a sudden you pulled the trigger, and I was like, oh goddamn, we got to get on that. So really, it was the work you did, bro, that brought this to the fore, and so I want to commend you for the work you've been doing. That's quite amazing.
Yeah, and like I literally had to put in the work, in contact with the sheriffs, and get it set up and get it sorted out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting a hold of the sheriff. Are you getting a permit for it or no?
I have the event scheduled, so like they're aware of it. I did receive a conversation email.
Yeah, I saw the confirmation email floating around.
Online, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, unless you've got like PA, stuff like that. I mean, I've got a bullhorn that I can bring with me, but they're not. I don't think they can regulate that. So unless you're setting anything up, you don't really need a what do you call it, a permit. Um, and it's just really getting bodies. I mean, you take a look at 10,000 people hitting Ottawa,
Yeah.
and everybody's saying how much of an annoyance that was. Well, yeah, but is it the 10,000 people's fault? I mean, nobody can control how many people want to join a thing. Whether you believe in the trucker protest or you don't, that's immaterial to the case. 10,000 people wanted to show up, and they did show up. And so there's nothing the government can do or stop us from being as many people strong as we can be. And obviously, the trucker protest went all over the world, and it affected Germany. Truckers started coming, or farmers started coming out in Germany. They saw what Canada did. Once again, you don't have to agree with what it was, but people exercised their liberty, their right, their freedom of speech. And you can't control the amount of people that want to join a thing. So that's why I encourage people to join this, because the spectacle is everything. Once again, you want to make a change. Well, if you believe in it or you don't, those truckers, they created a spectacle.
Yeah.
They just did. And that's what we're trying to do. We're not fighting what they fought. We're fighting our own thing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right.
The other thing that I can do too, because I know that the MPs and possibly a lot of the like the mayor and the cabinet ministers and city council and stuff, I don't think they'd be as open to sending information out as, let's say, community support aids and specific group homes and stuff like that. So I think what I'll do, probably over the weekend here is I'll get a whole list of people that should be contacted, and I'm just gonna let them know, hey, this is the protest that's happening. Show up if this is important to you, and give everybody kind of the breakdown. Just to alleviate having to rely on like the mayor and their people to get the word out for us. I'm just gonna bypass that altogether.
Yeah, and I'll be bringing a megaphone. I'm probably going to want to bring some extra batteries, as the battery that's in it is rechargeable, but if it's going for 2 hours, might want to bring some extra batteries.
Yeah.
And it takes.
I'll be bringing my my, what is it called? My Bluetooth speaker, just to be playing some of the audio recordings that I have that are already live in the app. Just to kind of have a consistent kind of voice going about different things that'll hopefully draw pedestrians in. I'll reach out to Canman Dan, who's doing a lot on the homeless front and has been for the last 15 years. I'll see if he has people that want to participate too, because it isn't just going to be impacting the AISH recipient, because a lot of AISH recipients are going to end up on that homeless front if this keeps going. So we're kind of all in this together.
And I couldn't get this done without the people in the disability community.
Yeah.
And hopefully can get a good turnout, and hopefully it will turn out just fine.
Yeah, exactly. Because we definitely need more eyes on what's happening. And more engagement. I know that's what Gavin's pushing for is the engagement there. Even getting a cork, or even getting one of those poster board things from the dollar store, you can get them for $2. You've got you know, markers, pencils, whatever. Put signs in your windows saying that you're opposed to the AISH-to-ADAP switch. You're still getting your voice out there.
And the more people we have out there and on the ground, the more chance we can hopefully get this delayed and slow down, and hopefully paused until they can get in contact with a bunch of people on disability services, and hopefully can be to get more eyes and ears out there.
Yeah. Well, they definitely didn't consult the people that this was going to impact, and that's the problem.
That's a big problem. That's actually how we actually quashed the separatist movement. That was what the judge deemed, was the fact that they hadn't consulted the indigenous people on this legislation or this referendum, and the judge shut it down for that express purpose. So they basically never got a hold of us.
Yeah.
To allow us to speak, just like they didn't allow the indigenous to speak on separation. That to me should be its own legality.
Yeah.
It should be shut down just on that basis. What do you think about that, George?
Yeah, I think if they're gonna try and push this on us, we'll have to start fighting back and resisting what this government's doing.
Amen, brother. And if your icon on your Zoom account doesn't say it all, it absolutely does. I mean, I love the helmet. I love the eyes. I'm a big fan of medieval, Middle Earth stuff myself. So it seems to me like you're ready for the fight, yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And we're doing our best to join you up there. I'm going to have a conversation with one of the guys this week, and we're going to see if we can't, you know, get some kind of rental thing happening, and be up there bright and early to meet with you and you know, a good portion of 80,000 people.
Yeah, and I'll hopefully be taking the ETS down there. Just have to just take the transit and hop on the bus and get down there.
Now, do you have any speakers showing up? I'm curious. Like, do you have anybody like Zachary Weeks or Canman Dan or the other people that are involved? Do you have any speakers for that day? What are you thinking there?
I haven't set anything like that up,
Mhm.
so like hopefully if someone can get in contact with some speakers and hopefully arrange for them to show up, that should hopefully help it go smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, I think having a few speakers out there would really be worth the moment. What do you think, Chantal?
Oh, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Okay. Marie
I'm
Renaud.
listening. I'm on it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
reach out to Zachary Weeks. I'll reach out to Can Man Dan. I know that there's a few other individual advocacy groups that I've been in and out of touch with. I'll rope them in too. I'll get a hold of the mayor and our city council. I'll send it to a lot of people here in St. Albert as well. The community support workers and group homes and anybody that I can find communication platforms for, I'll get a hold of them, letting them know what we're up to on the 22nd and when we're going to be there, and what this is regarding. I'll probably reach out to some of the old folks homes too, because it doesn't end with FSCD, ADAP, PDD, and AISH. It goes to the CPP too. So we'll get as many people out there as we can, and I know that I can reach out to some of the indigenous communities as well, because I've roped them into all of this too when it comes to my research and my work. I thoroughly pluck those chickens there.
Yeah,
yeah, George,
and
there's a lot of naked chickens running around Alberta right now. I can tell you that.
wow.
So yeah, I know that I'll be there at the legislature. I just have to wait for my kids to leave for school, and then it'll be about getting the Uber to me, because I've got lots of stuff that I'm going to be bringing down. I've got my 4-foot by 6-foot banner that I'll have there, and of course, because of my mobility issues, I'll have a chair. We'll have I'll bring a case of water with us. And yeah, so we'll be there from, hopefully, I'm aiming for 10 o'clock. So 10 until 3 o'clock, I'll be at the legislature.
Oh, wow, wicked. Well, what do you think of them apples, George?
Yeah, I think that's perfect. The more people we can get out there, the more awareness we can spread, and hopefully call on the government to take action. Even though
I'll
many
have street
people
canvas. I'll have a street canvasser with me too. So he'll be sending cards out left and right. He'll be chasing people down all over the place.
Right, we can even have a petition out that day. I mean, we started one in Calgary, so I can bring my petition notes up there. People can be signing that. Marie Renaud is, I think, another one that could absolutely be standing with us. You know, uh, she is ostensibly, at least, the media darling attached to our necessary cause. So
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go down to her office at some point next week, just to kind of touch base with her office, because she's not even 15 minutes from me, so I'll go bug her.
right, I think you and I really need to coordinate that effort. Just with you going in, I think I'm going to send her a bunch, like an email or a couple emails talking about coming on the podcast. Kind of giving herself a little bit more exposure instead of just sitting behind a camera, but actually getting her ass out there. I mean, I know she's doing some good, and I want to give her credit. But hey, come on the podcast and explain what that means. Like, tell us the good you're doing. Tell us what it looks like. Tell us what we need to fight for.
Yeah.
Where do we need to put our efforts? Where do we need to put our strengths? And I think she could speak at this thing. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, George, I mean, you're getting a little bit of feedback, right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
although I haven't actually been able to have any contacts with MPs or really anyone. I'm just setting this up on Facebook and just seeing what happens.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, I mean, the type of people you're talking about are certainly going to avoid you at all costs. Um, and you can get tough on them though, man. You can tell them, look, if you don't want to answer to me, you can answer the media. So any email you send out, like I did this with all the UCP members last week. Every UCP member in Alberta, I sent an email to telling me that they had to disclose once and for all how they voted on the transition, right? Some got back to me and said, well, that's your own MLA and we don't work in your district. And I said, so I sent them another email back and I said, that's absolute bullshit. This is an Alberta wide crisis and it demands the exposure of every politician in Alberta. So, along with my reply to them, and I told them I am including two media sources and a bunch of like Nenchi and Renault and a few other people in the CC response. So now the media is looking at their response. Renault is looking at them. Nenchi is looking at them. You see? And so you don't have to play nice. You can play hardball because they want to strip you of your livelihood.
Yeah, and like they're gonna get tough on us, but we gotta get tough on them.
You know, I mean, hey man, if somebody was going to rob you of everything you had, you'd probably fight for yourself, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
Yeah. And this is no different. I mean, they're robbing you of your livelihood and they're doing it in real time right in front of your face and they're withholding by a lot of the means by which they're actually going to rip you off. You don't know if they have a gun or a knife or just a legislation, right? Um, and I use those two words colloquially, not literally. But regardless, um, we have to fight, and we can fight with everything we have. And it seems like you're doing an amazing job, George.
Just doing what I can to help out in the disability community, especially myself being developmentally disabled, have to do what I can to get involved and get my voice out there.
Yeah, and look at how good you're doing and how much you've been able to accomplish. It's amazing. Um, and you with your own mental proclivities and challenges, um, you're doing amazing work, man.
Thanks. And
Yeah.
I hope to see everyone out there.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
If uh if there are storms in the forecast, it might not be such a good day, but if it's raining, it's fine. Just bring an umbrella and just dress appropriately for the weather,
For the weather. Yeah.
because you never know what's gonna happen in Alberta weather.
Yeah. I guess we'll know close enough to the event where you can really kind of nail that down. And if you have to move it, if it looks really bad, there's still be enough time to move it, and people will be able to adjust accordingly. I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've been keeping an eye on the weather, watching for storms, and hopefully there won't be any storms, but like it wouldn't be a good idea to have storms, have the event if there are storms predicted,
Hmm.
especially with the weather getting hot. Thunderstorms are far more common.
Right. Um, yeah. Well, we'll plan on the 22nd, and if it moves, we'll have enough time to readjust and recalibrate, and still take part in the same action, because because we got guts, we got balls, we got, you know what I mean? We got the cojones, we bring the goods. And not me and not Chantal, but 80,000 of us. And what a pleasure that would be to see 80,000 people stick it to their government. What a joyful day that would be. My God. George, how can people sign up for this?
Yeah, if you're in any of the AISH groups or in the Alberta Disability Breakdown or the AISH group or the AISH page, you can find it on the upcoming events, or you can search Stop ADAP, Stop the Clawback, Fight the UCP protest in the events tab on Facebook.
Fantastic. Stop ADAP dash or slash stop the clawback slash stop the UCP. Is that correct?
There's no slashes. It's just all one word.
Oh, just one word. Okay, great. Stop ADAP, stop the clawback, stop the UCP. Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where your fingers should be, you know, walking at this moment, is to that page, sign up, determine that you will be there. For those who can, for those who can't, we carry your great spirit with us. No one is going to ever pressure anybody that cannot partake in such a thing to ever push them to that extent. You stay home. We got your back. That's why we're 80,000 strong, because those who can will. And but for those who can get down there, let's say that's 10,000 of you. Let's do this. It's one day out of your entire life, and it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it to stick it to your government, unless you think your government is the best thing since sliced bread. And I don't believe you can make a case for that. So, George, I really appreciate your time, bro.
Thanks. It's been great being on the show.
I'm working on the email behind the scenes right now.
Oh my God! See, Chantal's, I mean, she's, you know, she's switch hitting for you, buddy. She's right there.
I've got the email already written, and I'm just populating the two and the CCs. I think we're up to 24 contacts, not including media as of yet.
Oh, cool, cool. Yeah. So yeah, man, we got your back. We're right with you, man. We believe so much in what you put together.
Hope to see everyone out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll be there for sure.
Me too.
I'll be hard to miss.
Me too. And so if you want to hang up, I don't want to hang you up because I might end up crashing the entire podcast. But if you want to hang up, George, you can go ahead and do that. And we really, really appreciate you, bro.
Thanks.
Okay, well, you take care. Let's stay in touch, all right? You, me, Chantal.
All right.
And I've got a person working down here. Her name's Pam, that I think would love to be involved in any way she can, helping you set up, you know, doing any of those things.
That's amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we can definitely start sharing that event, because I know that it's up on my page, and we should be able to share it to various pages. So I'll definitely be doing that too tonight. I'll just grab the share link, and I'll just post it to all of the groups that I follow. Just repeat out there that, hey, we're here, we're going to be out here, and hope that everybody can get out. So yeah, awesome.
See you all next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, buddy. Thanks. Okay, that was quick. He's out. Very cool. Very cool, huh?
Mm-hmm. I'm still populating the email. I don't run out of people very quickly.
Yeah. I actually think I might have been kicked off one of the AISH pages.
Oh, probably. I know that I was kicked off of one and I rejoined it because I thought, no, we're not doing that.
I can't even find it in my list though. Like
Oh, well, it depends on which one it was.
Yeah, it
We
was
can always go through the list because I think I'm on all of them too.
yeah. You know, I mean, wow, right? Like, what a time to be kicking people off your platform.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible behavior. So that was extremely good. We got George coming on and happening, and that's pretty wicked. And yeah, eBus Rider Express, Bus to Edmonton. Yeah, we can look at that, Pam. I want to talk to Joey as well and see what he's got up his sleeve. And yes, we will all be sharing this because this is where it all came down, right? It was Edmonton where all of this fuckery happened. So we have to go up there, and it's ground zero for us, right?
I'm Ken and Dan. I'm sending it to you because I can. I think I've got Zachary Weeks in here too.
Cool. And I'm trying to get both of them on the podcast. I feel better now that I just had George on, and it was okay, right? We froze on YouTube. I think Pam could let me know that. Pam, are we frozen on YouTube? Can you come back? Let me know if we froze. You know, we had some people on here, and that's good today. You know, we had like 5 people on at once, 4 or 5. Pam, let me know if we're frozen. And so that's good.
No, we're not frozen. We're good. We're still going.
Oh, we're okay. Okay.
I just switched over to that. I'm going back and forth between different tabs, so it was like I'll just quickly jump over there. What we're doing.
Okay, good. I went to YouTube and we're frozen, but that might just be my not frozen. Okay, cool. Pam, we love you. You are the best damn moderator in the business. I'll tell you that right now. And so
I expanded a bit to include the MPs and MLAs in the immediate area about the protest.
Oh yeah,
Might as well.
absolutely.
They'll see it or they won't, whatever. At least I'm getting the word out.
I'll tell you.
I've already done all the group homes and I've already done all of the senior centers. And next is all of the community support places.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If Netchi is as serious a guy as he says he is, he'll be there. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Why would a person not be there at a moment such as this? No excuses. No excuses.
No, this one.
So that's good. We got some work done today.
Yeah.
And we got to give ourselves some credit because we're giving the information. We're bringing the goods, man.
Yeah.
And people are going to have to respond. They are simply going to have to respond. So, ladies and gentlemen, unless you have anything else, Chantal, what do you think?
No, I'm good on my end. I'm just gonna finish this email and get it sent off, and you'll get it in your inbox for sure.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for showing up, for being part. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get the word out there. Liking the podcast as it happens is extremely useful, not for my ego, but for the algorithm. So if you could do that, that pushes us further out into the ether of the internet space. And we need people to see this podcast. It's of the utmost importance now. Like I said, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there. We got to get there and we got to do it now. So we love y'all. Uh, Chantal's and my heart and Pammy's goes out to you all. We're all in this together. We're all fighting this together. And we're going to get it done together, aren't we? I think so.
Yep.
So
That's the plan.
that's the plan. So you all have a good night. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6 p.m. We'll be downtown at Calgary City Hall, noon o'clock, till at least 3 p.m. Standing there with signs, with a bullhorn, with our voices, with our spirits and our hearts, getting the message out and embarrassing the political class. So please join us for that. It is paramount that you do so. Until then, ladies and gentlemen,
We'll see you tomorrow.
and be well.